Well, it's Thursday again, it's February, we've had all sorts of weather again this week, but this is what I've been up to over the last 7 days. First of all, I just want to hope that a lot of you guys got your Feeder Masters tickets last Friday. I know my vlog prompted one or two of you to get online and get some, and I've seen a few posts on Facebook and Twitter and stuff just saying that you've got them, so that's great. Look forward to seeing some of you competing in those rounds this year. Really looking forward to that competition. It's been a manic week. I thought it was going to be a quiet week, but it's been a lot busier than what I thought. So to kick off, I just thought we'd do some Q&As first. One of the questions being asked today online has just been about fixed rigs, how to tie fixed rigs. There's lots of different ways of doing it, and I think from the rigs that I've seen, the principle's pretty much the same. I have done a video about doing a fixed rig. I did it quite a few months ago, so what I'll do is I'll put the link below for you. I don't want to keep going over old ground, but if anybody's got any, other questions about rigs, about if you want me to go into the different types of rigs that we use in different scenarios, then please let me know if that's what you want, and I could put a vlog together just on rigs. But like I said, fixed rig, a nice simple easy one that we use in Ireland and places like that. It was Dean Barlow that showed me that a couple of years ago. Like I said, I'll put the link to that below for you. So that was question one. Question two was about when you're looking for features in your peg, when you're casting a bomb out before the start of a match, when you're having a good feel around. Somebody's just asked really what kind of features you're looking for. The first thing I've really got to say on that is not everybody looks for features. It's very much a personal thing. I know some anglers that do well, that do look for features and take a lot of time deciding on where they're gonna fish when they're fishing a feeder. But I also know that there's some international anglers that never really look for anything. Especially they don't look for a hard bottom or anything like that on the commercials. They just pick a range and make it work. So it's very much a personal thing. I do it really for confidence, and it's just I like to have as much information about what the area is like where I plan on casting my feeder. For me, I'm just looking for, it depends where you are. I mean, the key to it all is you're just trying to make sure there's no snag there. That's what it is. That's the key on a lot of venues. If you find it's clear and you're happy for your bait to go in there, then that's fine, that's no problem. But obviously you can get more technical with it when you're looking for maybe a harder bottom or a softer bottom, depending on a lot of the UK fisheries. Some areas are really silty, some venues can have shallow gravel bars. It's just things like that, and it's a subject you can talk about greatly. But the key reason I do it is obviously you're looking for the depth as well, as the bomb goes down. But once the bomb hits the deck, you've then got an opportunity to just pull the bomb across the bottom and just find out what the bottom's like. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone by doing that, and it's peace of mind. I mean, you do it on a pole when you're lowering your pole rig in and you're making sure it's all level and flat before you're deciding where you're going to put your bait. It's exactly the same principle with feeder fishing. That's all. So for me, it's mainly a confidence thing, and yeah, I do look for gravel. I like a hard bottom on a lot of the UK fisheries, just because I think fish feed better on that. But that, like I said, that's a personal thing. So that was question two. So question three was all about ground baits. The final question I've been asked was really about the mixers that I use and I've got confidence in. Now, I'm not going to obviously say that Bait Tech's the best bait in the world, but I mean, that is the bait that I use on all my domestic, all my individual competitions. What I can do is I like the three mixers that I used last year that have won me money, and they're the three mixers that I use on a wide variety of venues all year round, and I'll be using them again this year. So these are the three mixers. My favoured mix from last year, as a lot of people know, was Special G Green. That's the mix that I used to qualify for the Feeder Masters final at Bow Beach. I actually qualified there at Bow Beach itself using this mix. It's a fine mix, a really strong fish meal, quite a light green colour that you can see. Binds really well, so you can fish it on a pole, but because it binds the way that it does, you can fish it with a cage feeder in deeper water if you want to do that, or you can mix it drier and use it with a plastic feeder if you prefer that in deeper water. But that's the mix I used it on its own. Great mix. Like I say, I use that as a base for most of my fish meal skimmer bream mixes for last year. That's the one that I used to qualify for that final. The second mix is a variation of the same one. It's the Special G, but I used it a lot last year, mixing it with other additives like fish meal, like salmon fry. It's a great base mix, and if you want to play around with mixes and find something to tweak it to give you that little bit of confidence, then you know it's a great mix for doing that. On one occasion I drew peg 6 at Home Marsh. I won the match with a 120 pound of bream, and I just went for it. I just attacked it with Special G green in 2 parts of that to 1 part of salmon fry. My thoughts on that were, obviously I got the confidence in the Special G green, but the salmon fry, with it being a river, I thought if I wasn't on the fish, with it being a river and it was obviously flowing, I wanted to give the mix some extra kind of scent, some extra flavour. I was confident I got the fish meal content right with the Special G, but I wanted that extra little bit of kick because I thought if the fish were downstream, I wanted to increase my chances of helping them draw them up to where my bait was going in the middle of the river. So I mixed it 2 parts to 1 of salmon fry. Great mix. Like I say, that proves that it can work on natural venues as well as commercials. And you know, I had some fish that day up to £6, so it was a fantastic day's fishing. But like I say, 2 to 1, that was a great mix. But it's also a good one to try with giving it an extra kick of fish meal on certain occasions. Again, just another one to try. So that was mix 2. And the final mix is one that I used on the final day of the World Pairs last year. I went on to win the section and the county. I can't remember the weight, to be fair. I think it was about 10 or 12 kilos, something like that. Hybrids and roach, and that was basically Pro Natural Dark. A lot of people know how much I love this mix. You know, it's a cereal mix used on a lot of natural venues when I'm targeting roach, hybrids, perch. So that was and will continue to be my #1 favourite kind of cereal mix, especially in clear water. And I've got to mention that today it's just been announced that this has actually been voted Match Fishing Magazine's readers' favoured ground bait range, the Pro Natural range as a whole. Bait Tech are over the moon with that, so that, I mean, that obviously tells you that there's not only me that thinks a lot about this mix. So again, one of my favourites. So that was mix number 3 from last year. Alright then, so matches, let's talk about some fishing. Saturday was the first of this year's Barston Masters qualifiers. I haven't got any footage from it. I'm not going to apologise for it. It's basically because I wanted to get my head down. I drew next to Mick Bull. It was a match that I just kind of wanted to get my head around it and just kind of forget about filming for a day, because I knew that I had a match the following day where I would be filming. So Barston Masters, you've got to win your section to qualify. You can only obviously qualify once for the final, but you can still fish the competition after that, even once you've qualified. So that's great, a great competition every month throughout the year. It was a tough match. It really fished hard. There was ice on it the day before. That thawed out overnight, and we were faced with, I think it was about 2 degrees of water, really hard. I drew peg 82, I think it was. For those of you who know it, down in the bottom left hand corner where the grass is, I was next to Mick Bull. He was the end peg on 81, which was the end peg on that bank. I was 82, obviously to his right, and our section ran up to the right. Favoured end of that section on paper, and in my opinion, I think we were the best end of that section. But to cut a long story short, we had a little battle, to be honest. I started on a maggot feeder, which I've never done before for carp. I never had a sign on it, and for F1s, never had a sign for the first hour. And then I got my head down on trying to catch some skimmers. Mick did the same thing, but I mean, Mick did it slightly different. He fed his skimmer line from the start of the match. I didn't do that, and to be honest, with the indications I've had from fish and liners, I don't think that made any difference. But to cut a long story short, I finished up with 5 fish for £15. and Mick finished up with 7 fish for £16. So his fish, the stamp of his fish was slightly smaller for some reason, so he beat me by £1. So he qualified for the final and I didn't in that, which I'm a little bit gutted about. But it was a little bit of a just kind of feeling match really to get into it, especially chucking the maggot feeder for the first hour. It's something I've never done before, and as it turned out, our 2 weights were the top weights on that bank. I mean, I can't believe how hard it fished. £33 won the match, I believe. So yeah, so I've got another crack at it in 2 weeks' time in the February's qualifier. So hopefully that'll go a little bit more to plan. So that was Saturday. Now Sunday was the first opportunity for me to have a crack at the new Golden Reel Larford Grand Masters event. It's a final that's going to take place in September, and this was my first opportunity to fish it. The weather forecast was obviously planned to be really cold overnight. There was a frost overnight, the water was really cold, it was going to be a dull day, and the forecast was for it to rain all day. I drew peg 66 on Specie. Those of you that know me know that I've got quite a bit of confidence at catching the skimmers on Specie Lake, especially this time of year, and I had a feeling the carp were going to shut up shop, and that's really, well, it did happen. I mean, I'm not seeing it happening quite to, quite the extent. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I have done a vlog on it. There is a video. It will be on tomorrow night. That's Friday at 6:30. So that'll be the vlog from that. So please tune in for that. Please take a look at that. Let me know what you think. The quality of the filming is not very good at all. I will be honest with you. I'll tell you now, purely because it was raining throughout the full match. It started raining at 10 o'clock, and it carried on raining right through the match. So there'll be a bit of rain and stuff on the lens, but I mean it's real for you, and I was focusing on the fishing, so hopefully it's not spoiled the footage for you. So that's tomorrow at 6:30. So that was it. That was Sunday. Great result. I've got to admit it, I ended up second on the lake. There was only one carp caught on the whole of the lake, and I managed to qualify at the first attempt for the Grand Masters final in September, which was brilliant. I mean, that was one of the big four finals that I wanted to be in this year, so it's great to get one out of the way while it was still January. So please, tomorrow night, watch the footage for that. And I've also had a day this week down at Tunnel Barn. Never been there before, and this is why. Well, that just about sums it up. I've just booked on to the Open match on Sunday at Larford Lakes. It is actually a Larford Classic qualifier, which is great, and it's actually on Specie Lake. So again, it's going to be a good heads up for the Silverfish Festival. So if any of you guys are going to be there, look forward to seeing you. I know some of you guys there watch these vlogs, so it'd be good to see you. I'm actually taking Dad down with me as well. I think I'm going to stay down on Saturday night. So it's going to be a good recce for the Silverfish Festival. Some big names booked on that this year, and it's just been announced that it's a sellout. There was capping it at 40 so that it can keep all these 4 sections on Specie Lake, which is brilliant. I really approve of that. And like I said, I'm going to be there on Sunday, so I'll have a live match vlog for you next week. And that's about it, really. So wherever you're off to, please have a great weekend. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like, so I hope you get out on the bank, and I look forward to hearing how you've gone on next week. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all next week.